Japanese at ETHS, Japanese 1. This, that, and that over there. In this mini lesson, we'll be looking into the usages of the words for this, that, and that over there in their different forms. Mainly, kore, kono, sore, sono, are, ano. Taking a look at sentence structure in English, if you start a sentence that says something like this is, or that is, or that is, or that over there is, we're going to be using a specific kind of word here that is beginning always with a ko with the words for this, a so for words for that, and an a for something that's away. So ko, so, a, this, that, that over there. When you say like this is my pen or that is a dog, you're going to end those kinds of sentences or use this kind of word with those kinds of sentences. Kore, sore, and are. This kind of re series, kore, sore, are, is used in these type of sentences like examples here. This is my dog, that over there is not my umbrella, things like that. So a simple sample sentence, this is an apple. Word order would dictate that the first word, this is going to be started with the kore wa. And what I want to note here is that this is sitting in the English sentence here is the verb of the sentence, and in Japanese we always put our verb des at the end of a sentence, but it just so happens that it kind of falls in place kind of in word order as it does in English. So this is kind of sounds like kore wa, but I don't want you to equate the word is with wa. These are not the same thing. Wa is a topic marker, marking kore, this as the topic of the sentence. It just happens to fall in that spot. So if you kind of get tangled in a sentence, that's one way you can think about it. And doesn't really exist in the language. We don't have this in Japanese, so we just get to go to the word for apple, ringo, and then because it's a positive ending sentence, we're just going to end our sentence with des, is. Remember that des could also be are if we have plural, like these are apples. Kore wa ringo desu. Kore wa ringo desu. That is a cat. Similar structure here, so that is, this time we're going to use the sore for the that, and because it's followed by the word is, we're going to drop the wa down into this place. Again, not because it is the word is, but it's a topic marker and it happens to fall in that spot. So sore wa, we don't have the word a, and then we will just write the word cat, neko, followed by the verb des. So, sore wa neko desu. Sore wa neko desu. These are just labeling sentences. That is a cat. That over there is a shoe. So that over there is all one word followed by the is, right? So we have, in this case, let me keep to the same color scheme here, that over there is, the that over there word is the are, from the kore, sore, are series. And then here again is the is, which will drop into place where our wa, particle wa, sits. Are wa, and then shu, kutsu, desu. Are wa kutsu desu. Now again, that could be translated as those over there are shoes, or that over there is a shoe. We don't really know specifically from Japanese, but again, in a context, it would be pretty clear if someone's pointing over there and there's one or two shoes sitting there. So, to make these a little more interesting, we can use possession. Possession marker in Japanese is the particle no, hiragana no. So if you have a word such as I or me, which you might know as watashi, or boku for boys, all you have to do to make that possessive is add the no to it. So watashi, I or me, would become watashi no, to make it my or mine. So just add this possessive marker to that noun to make it possessive. I, me, watashi becomes watashi no, my or mine. So in the same way, teacher, sensei, would become teachers with the particle no following it. So now we have not teacher, but teachers, right? So sensei no would be teachers. So this is my money. Take the same kind of structure we did with this is and this is. We have kore wa, again dropping this wa where this verb sits. And then this is going to sound exactly the same in English word order. So my money, as we just went on the previous screen, watashi no, particle no, and then money, okane. Kore wa watashi no okane desu. Because desu is again the positive is or are verb. Kore wa watashi no okane desu. Kore wa watashi no okane desu. That is the teacher's apple. That is sore from the kore sore are series. Wa, dropping the particle where this is sits once more. The does not exist, so we'd ignore it. Teacher is sensei. We need to make this possessive, so we're going to add a no following sensei to make it teachers, and then finish up with apple. Ringo. And again, because it is the teacher's apple, we're going to end with that positive desu ending. Sore wa sensei no ringo desu. Sore wa sensei no ringo desu. What do you do with a question? Well, the good news is with Japanese, unlike many languages, is we don't have to switch the word order around. So if you get confused about word order, what I'd suggest is think of it in a statement. So instead of is this a pencil, say it as a statement, this is a pencil, and then follow what we just did. So this is, right, kore wa, and then we have pencil, enpitsu, and then desu ka, desu ka. The ka here at the end is the important piece. This marks this as a question. So kore wa enpitsu desu ka? Kore wa enpitsu desu ka is what makes kore wa enpitsu desu, this is a pencil, into is this a pencil? So the structure stays exactly the same. You just add a ka to the end. So is that over there my pencil? Think of it again as a statement. That over there is my pencil. So that would begin with, again, the are for that over there. Wa, because you're saying that over there is. Now we have the possessive form of I to make it watashi. No, particle no, to give us possession. Pencil. Enpitsu. And then desu would make it the statement, but we have to finish it as a question. So we say ka. Right, so are wa watashi no enpitsu desu ka? Are wa watashi no enpitsu desu ka? Now we have the question form. So that strawberry is whose. This is something a little bit different because we need to know the word for whose. This is the possessive form of the word who. The word who is dare. So how would you make whose? Add the no. The particle no after dare would make it dare no, whose, right? So that strawberry is whose. We're going to be using a slightly different format here. Do you note in this case here that we have the word that followed by strawberry? We're not saying that is, we're saying that strawberry is. Okay, so I'm jumping the gun just a little bit. Let me go to the screen first. So in the case of this apple is, as opposed to this is an apple, we're not going to use the kore as we've been doing in the last few sentences, but instead we're going to do what's called the no series, or kono. So change that re to a no. Same thing for the that house is. That kind of a sample sentence would begin with not sore, but sono. And you can guess what that dog over there is, right? Because again, you're following it directly by the noun rather than are. We're going to be using the word ano. So what does this mean is that when you use the no series, the kono, sono, ano, that word is followed directly by, not follows a noun, it's followed by a noun, right? So the no is followed by a noun. Meaning you'd say like this dog is, or that cat is. So again, going back a couple, that strawberry is, that's how we're going to use that as sono versus the sore, because we're following it with the word strawberry, right? Strawberry here is ichigo. And then we put our wa. And that still kind of applies here, where you have the wa dropping in the place where it sits in Japanese word order as English word order. So sono, ichigo, wa, and then dare no, as we talked about just a moment ago, for whose. And then desu ka, because it's a question. So sono ichigo wa dare no desu ka? Sono ichigo wa dare no desu ka? Dare no desu ka? So again, kore, this apple is, or this is. So kono, this apple is. Sono, that house is, for example. And ano, that dog over there is. So this cell phone is mine. Think about that for just a moment. This is structured, again, as this followed directly by the noun cell phone. So because this is followed by a noun, we're going to be using the no series. So rather than kore, we're using kono, kono, kono keitai, keitai. Here's our particle wa, where the is sits, kono keitai wa, and then mine, again possessive form of my or I or me, watashi no, and is, desu. And it's not a question, so just send it as desu. Kono keitai wa watashi no desu. That desk is the teacher's. That desk is the teacher's. That desk, followed by a noun. So, are we going to use sore or sono? No followed by noun. Sono. Sono tsukue wa teachers sensei no is, verb at the end, desu. Sono tsukue wa sensei no desu. Sono tsukue wa sensei no desu. Whose strawberry is that? One of those principles of this language here is you're going to always start your sentence with the kore, sore, are, kono, sono, ano word. So even though in English we have the first word here as whose, we're going to start our sentence with the word that. Now think about what we're saying here. Is this going to be equivalent to that is or that strawberry is? If you're looking at what's connected here, that is separated, right? This is separated from the noun that is being talked about here. There's that verb in between. Okay? So you're really going to connect whose to strawberry. So what does that mean? It means that instead of using the no series here, we're going to go back to that re series. So you're going to use sore, wa. And then the next part of the sentence is the whose strawberry. Okay, so whose, again, is from the question word who, dare, with the possessive marker no. Back to our noun ichigo for strawberry. And then it's a question, so we're going to end it with the desu ka. Right, so sore wa dare no ichigo desu ka? Sore wa dare no ichigo desu ka? Is that bear over there mine? Is that bear over there mine? So think about that for a moment. That over there is attached to the noun bear, even though it's kind of like embedded in there. That's because of English. but it's attached to it. So we're going to go back to our no series, meaning that we're going to use the ano kuma. And now again, word order, particle wa for the topic, and then all that's left is the mine question mark. So you can use the watashi no, and then desu ka question. Ano kuma wa watashi no desu ka? Ano kuma wa watashi no desu ka? That will give you that sentence. And another. This is not my pencil. So what's happening here is I changed the is to is not. And it's really a simple process. Instead of ending it in des, you're going to end it in de wa arimasen. De wa arimasen is rather long, but it's always going to just replace the word des in the negative form, so is not. So if you're saying this is not, it's like saying this is, so we're back to our kore wa, and then the mai, watashi no pencil, enpitsu, and then I'm going to have to squish this in here, de wa arimasen. That wa is something you need to be a little bit careful of. It sounds like that wa we'd use in the word like watashi, but it is the particle wa, so it is written as a ha. So kore wa watashi no enpitsu de wa arimasen. Kore wa watashi no enpitsu de wa arimasen. That chair is not the teacher's. That chair is not the teacher's. So I'd like you to try this on your own for a minute. Think through it. That, followed directly by chair, means sono. Chair, isu. What's next? Teachers, sensei no for the possessive, and then is not. De wa arimasen. Sono isu, look what I did. Sono isu wa sensei no de wa arimasen. You always need this particle wa somewhere in this sentence, in these sentences. Yeah, and I did omit that, but you catch it in the after fact, and that's fine. So sono isu wa sensei no de wa arimasen. That chair, the teacher's, is not. And that's the mini lesson on this, that over there. I hope that it helps. Let me know if you have some feedback, and ganbatte.